ഗുരുപാദുകസ്തു അനന്ത സംസാര സമുദ്രതാര നൗകായിതാഭ്യാം ഗുരുഭക്തിദാഭ്യാം വൈരാഗ്യ സാമ്രാജ്യധൂജനാഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം കവിത്വവാരാശിനിശാകരാഭ്യാം ദൗർഭാഗ്യദാവാം ബുധമാലികാഭ്യാം ദൂരീകൃതാനമ്രവിപത്തധീഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം നദായയോ ശ്രീപതിതാം സമീയോ കദാചിദപ്യാശു ദരിദ്രവര്യാഃ മൂകാശ്ച വാചസ്പതിതാം ഹിതാഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം നാലീകനീകാശപദാഹിതാഭ്യാം നാനാവിമോഹാദിനിവാരികാഭ്യാം നമജ്ജനാഭീഷ്ടതതിപ്രദാഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം നൃപാലിമൗലി ഭൃജരത്നകാന്തി സരദ്ധിരാജാധ്യഷകന്യകാഭ്യാം നൃപത്വദാഭ്യാം നതലോകപങ്ക്തി നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം പാപാന്ധകാരാർക്കപരംപരാഭ്യാം താപത്രയാഹീന്ദ്രഗഗേശ്വരാഭ്യാം ജാഡ്യാബ്ധി സംശോഷണപാഠവാഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം ശമാധിഷട്ക പ്രദവൈഭവാഭ്യാം സമാധിദാന പ്രദദീക്ഷിതാഭ്യാം രമാധവം ത്രീ സ്ഥിരഭക്തിദാഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം സ്വാർജാപരാണാം അഖിലേഷ്ടദാഭ്യാം സ്വാഹാ സഹായാക്ഷദുരന്ധരാഭ്യാം സ്വാം താച്ച ഭാവപ്രദപൂജനാഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം കാമാദിസർപ്പഭൃജഗാരുഢാഭ്യാം വിവേകവൈരാഗ്യനിധിപ്രദാഭ്യാം ബോധപ്രദാഭ്യാം ഹൃതമോക്ഷദാഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം നമോ നമ ശ്രീ ഗുരുപാദുകാഭ്യാം. മൂകം കരോതി വാചാലം പങ്കും ലംഘയതി ഗിരിം യത്കൃപാതമഹം വന്ദേ പരമാനന്ദമാധവം. യം ബ്രഹ്മാ വരുണേന്ദ്രരുദ്രമരുതഃ തുന്വന്തി ദിവ്യൈ സർവൈ വേദൈ സാംഗപദക്രമോപനിഷദേ ഗായന്തി യം സാമഗാഃ. ധ്യാനാവസ്ഥിതതദ്ഗതേന മനസാ പശ്യന്തി യം യോഗിനോ യസ്യാന്തം ന വിദുഃസുരാസുരഗണ ദേവായ തസ്മൈ നമഃ. സർവധർമാൻ പരിത്യജ്യ മാമേകം ശരണം വ്രജ അഹം ത്വാ സർവപാപേഭ്യോ മോക്ഷയിഷ്യാമി മാ ശുചഃ. Slokas 11 to 20. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः ध्यानयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाभ्य स्थिरमानसमात्मनः नातिश्रितं नातिनीचं चैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम् तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यदचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात् योगमात्मविशुद्धये समं कायशिरो ग्रीवं धारयन्नचलं स्थिरः सम्प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वं दिशश्चानवयोगयन् प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभिः ब्रह्मचारिवृते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः युक्त आसीद मत्परः युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति नात्यस्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति नैच नै न चैकान्तमनस्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः यदा विनयितं चित्तम् आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः युक्त इत्युच्यते तथा यथा दीपो निवातस्थ नेङ्गते सोमपास्मृता योगिनो यदचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः यत्रो परमते चित्तं निरुद्धं योगसेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति ॐ तत्सत्
Hari Om, thank you so much. Sudesh ji, would you commence with the recap of the last week?
Last week we discussed Shloka 9 and 10. Shloka 9 says, Suhrat Nitrayudasina Madhyasya Bandhushu Sadhustasi Chapsavapeshu Samabudhya Vishishyate. He who is of the same mind to the good-hearted, friends, relatives, enemies, the indifferent, the neutral, the hateful, the righteous, and the unrighteous excels. So that's what the meaning in this Shloka 9, what Krishna tried to advise us that, with the help of intellect, the mind has to be controlled from extrovert to introvert so that Jnani can develop equal vision. That's what Krishna tries to explain. Equal vision means, having same feeling with all different type of human beings who have all opposite characteristics with each other. When Jnani become pure-hearted with a Chitta Shuddhi, then he looks world around with the equal vision and same feeling with all different characters of human being. Among these, different characteristics, people and all around him, there might be some might have, among them, some might have helped him earlier, or some might have even troubled him. But without likes and dislikes, he treat all same. That's what here. And also here, Krishna classifies this sloka 9 different people. So here one is he killed that the mitra, friend who always protect and guide good and bad times, and dvesha, evil minded. Then Ari, who manifests evil, Then Udasina, on the one who is indifferent may do good or evil. Then Madhyastha, neutral, who is well-wisher for both the sides. Then Bandhu, a relative, who does good due to some relations and all. Then Sadhu, who follows spiritual path, work well with people. Then Papi, who lives selfish life only for his personal welfare. So these are the thing. When equal vision, we develop, then all type of is required for this meditation. Because for future in following slokas and all, Krishna trying to explain us all the different stages and meditation. So this equal vision is very important for the meditation preparation. Shloka 10 says, Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi stitaha ekaki yata chittatma nirashira parigraha. Let the yogi try constantly to keep the mind steady, remaining in solitude, alone with the mind and body controlled, free from hope and greed. From this shloka, Krishna explains that external and we need to develop a external and internal disciplines which is required for meditation. So, and also is a meditator should be carefully shift his focus from attention from world outside, try to be introvert. So as Gurudeva mentioned, it is not necessary to practice meditation in a caves or forest or something. We need to do it in our own house, in a selected quiet place and quiet time. And also here mentioned that in meditation in company is not effective. It has to be doing alone. Better means ekaki. The word ekaki, last week most of the sadhakas explained in detail that ekaki means withdrawing the mind from worldly things and beings is very important for meditation. So now further Krishna tried to continue with coming shlokas on preparation of meditation, on sitting postures and eating habits and all recreations, etc., to make prepare for the meditation. Hari Om.
In continuation with Sudeshji's explanation, the next two shlokas, 11 and 12. Now, in the sequel, the Lord proceeds to prescribe for the yoga practitioner particular modes of sitting, eating, recreation, and such other aids to yoga. First of all, he explains the mode of sitting as follows. Sucho deshe pratisthapya stiram asanam atmanaha natyuchitram nati nicham chailajina kushotaram. Sucho in a clean, sucho in a clean, deshe spot, pratisthapya having established, stiram firm, asana seat, atmana his own, not atyuchitranam very high, not ati nicham very low, chailajina kushottaram a cloth, skin and kusha grass one over the other. Having in a clean spot established a firm seat of his own, neither too high nor too low, made of cloth, a skin, and kusha, grass, one over the other. If meditation is the path by which one can gain tranquility and equal vision within oneself, it is necessary that in this textbook of self-perfection, Lord Krishna should give a complete and exhaustive explanation of the technique of meditation. In order to fulfill this demand, hereunder we get a few verses explaining the position, the means, and the end of a meditator at his work. In these words is a description of seat and the place for perfect meditation. In a clean place. It is important in as much as an external condition have a direct bearing upon the human mind. In a clean place, there is more chance for the seekers to maintain a cleaner mental condition. Apart from this, commentators explain that the place should be rid of mosquitoes, houseflies, bugs, ants, and such other creatures that may disturb the beginner's mental concentration, which he is trying to turn inward. Also, cleanliness is considered as next to divinity in India, not, of course, in our modern times of total Hindu decadence, where a typical bhakta is a stinking specimen of dirt and ugliness. In his seat, the meditator is asked to sit steady, sthiram, without moving the physical body at every short intervals and without swinging the body either forward and backward or sideways. The seeker is asked to get himself firmly established on his seat because physical movement contributes immensely to the shattering of the mental concentration and inner equipoise. This is very well realized by every one of us if we only remember our attitude when we are sincerely and seriously thinking over something. In order to get established in a firm posture, it would be advisable to sit in any comfortable seat, asana, with a vertebral column erect, fingers interlocked, and the hands thrown in front. For that, the reference we can see is Swamiji's Meditation and Life, the book. Adding more details, Krishna says that the seat of meditation should not be too high or too low. If it is too high, there will be a sense of insecurity in the meditator, created as a result of his instinct of self-preservation, and he will find it difficult to extricate himself from his outer world consciousness and plunge himself into the inner. Again, we are told that the seat should not be too low. This is to avoid the mistake of meditating in a damp underground cellar, where chances are that the seeker may easily develop rheumatic pains in his body. During meditation, the heart becomes slightly slow, and to the extent we are withdrawn into ourselves, even the blood pressure falls. At such a time of low resistance, if the place be damp, there is a great chance of the seeker developing pains in his joints. To avoid such troubles, the warning is given here. When the Gita is out to give details, she leaves nothing to the imagination of the student. The exhaustive details regarding the ideal seat to sit for meditation is an example. It is said here that a mattress of kusha grass on the ground with a deer skin covered with a piece of cloth on top of it is a perfect seat for long meditations. Dampness is avoided by the kusha, the grass, which keeps the seat warm during winter. In summer, the skin becomes too hot, as some seekers are allergic to the animal skin, especially when the skin has become slightly moist with perspiration. This contingency is being avoided by spreading over the skin a piece of clean cloth, having thus established himself firmly on the meditation seat, prepared as above. What exactly is he to do mentally and intellectually is now to be explained. What should be done after establishing oneself on the prepared seat? Tatrai kagram mana krutva yata chittendriya kriya upavisyasane yunjad yoga atmana visuddhaye. Tatra, there, eka, eka grama, one pointed, mana, the mind, mana, the mind, krutva, having made, yata chittendriya, one who has controlled the actions of the mind and the senses, upavisaya sane, being seated. Asane is on the seat. Sorry for that. Yunjyat, let him practice. Yoga. Atma Visuddhaye, for the purification of the self. There, having made the mind one-pointed with the action of the mind and the senses controlled, being seated on the seat, let him practice yoga for the purification of the self. However scientifically prepared it may be, to sit on appropriate asana, seat, is not in itself yoga. The appropriate physical condition is conducive to generating the right mental attitude for the spiritual practice. But a mere physical posture cannot in itself guarantee any spiritual self-development. In this verse, Krishna is giving what the seeker should practice in his seat of meditation. Having brought the body steadfast in the posture and steady, how one should employ his mind and intellect in the process of divine contemplation and meditation is the theme which is being discussed here. The first instruction given is that you should make the mind single-pointed. This instruction cannot be worked out by a seeker unless he knows how he can bring about this necessary inward condition in himself. It is very cheap and easy for a rishi to advise the member of the confused generation to make their mind integrated. Such an advice, when not sufficiently supported by practical details, becomes a mere high-sounding philosophy and not a useful guidance for the seekers. The Gita, being a textbook which translates philosophy into life, in its typical spirit here, the stanza immediately explains how we can bring the mind to an ideal single-pointedness. Subduing the faculty of imagination and the activities of the sense organs is the instruction given by Krishna. Single-pointedness is the very potent nature of the mind, but it gets flabbergasted, confused, and even mad when it gets dynamized by either the inner force of one's own surging imaginations or the outward pull rendered by the hallucination of the sense organs. If these two avenues of dissipation are blocked, instantaneously the mind becomes of its own nature single-pointed. Thus, seated on the earlier prepared meditation seat and making the mind single-pointed through the process of subduing mental imagination and controlling the wildness of the sense organs, the seeker is encouraged to practice yoga. To keep the single-pointed mind constantly on the steady contemplation of the ultimate self is the inner yoga that has been mentioned here. Naturally, every seeker would have rightly a desire to know why he should meditate thus. In order to remove all this misunderstanding from the heart of meditator, that they would be thereby directly coming face to face with the Atman. Krishna here appends to the verse the effects of such meditation. Through steady and regular meditation, the Shastras promises only inner purification. Agitations in the mind are its impurities. A purified mind is that which has no agitations, and when the mind has thus become pure and steady, the consciousness, looking at the steady reflection of itself, comes to rediscover its own real nature. This process is similar to the technique by which we understand ourselves while consulting our own reflection made in a mirror. The external seat has been described. Now that in the next, this thing we'll see in the rest of it, in the sequel, same sequel. Hari Om. on Shloka 11, that is preparation for the meditation seat. Sucho Deshe, that is clean place where no disturbances come from outside, as Gurudev has explained here. Pratishtapya is sitting down. And that is, while sitting down, your asana should be firm on the ground, where it doesn't move, firm on the ground without shaking. That is, your bottom is firmly on the ground, pratishtapana. And on the natyuchritam nati nicham, not too high nor too low. On that, Gurudeva in one of his videos explains, like sitting on the roof, and to avoid the disturbance from the family and to get a cool breeze, a person goes up to the roof, and he feels so insecure that he gets a feeling that he might fall any moment. So even that is a disturbance. Nor you should go to a old well and sit. That is how Gurudeva explains this not too high, not too low line. Then the question is where to sit. It should not be, and the surface should not be too hard nor too soft. As I explained here, first is the grass, kusha, grass or straw or whatever. Then the deer skin and a piece of cloth on top of it. Then again, Gurudeva on this explains, like, don't take this literal this thing, because I mean, where do you find all that? I mean, instead you take a blanket, make it into 4 folds, put a cloth on it and sit. And for people, I mean, again, he continues, like, for people like who cannot sit on the floor for long, it is okay with them to sit on a chair also and prepare themselves for meditation, because he says it is important. It is not important where you sit, but what you do after sitting is important. So on the 12th shloka, sitting in that position, then making the mind agra, single pointed. Agra is tip and eka is single. But again, he says, like, our mind is like a fork which has got 1,000 directions. How do we bring it to one this thing? That is by without letting our mind to indulge with the OET. I think when it comes to Balaji, I think he would explain it in a better with a BMI chart. I think without letting M to indulge with OET and get distracted with outer world. I mean, but by controlling the mind activities and aligning it with the intellect, when he says yata chittendriya kriya, yata, controlling the thoughts, here we are attempting, he says, I mean, Gurudeva says, like, attempting not to see the God, it is experiencing the God within. It is like you're not practicing this to see God from somewhere outside, but it is to experience God within yourself. And on the Upa Visyasane Yunjyad, that is, sit in that seat and put forth your best efforts to reach the level what is required. And yoga practice, yogam atma visuddhaye, the last line which says, like, to yoke M and I, always, as Gurudeva explains, yoking, I mean, M and I, he says, yoke M and I in your own depth of contemplation, he says, in order to purify your mind. And Gurudeva further says, like, at this stage, all your vasanas get roasted so that it doesn't sprout again. There is no possibility of sprouting of those vasanas again. That is how it has been explained here. And as I was seeing this, I think up to shloka 11, I think applying this is still okay with us. And coming to the 12th is a trouble we will face. I mean, how do we get into that mode? That is what I have understood on this. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Sudhirji. I don't think Balaji sir is available today. So Okay,
Hari
Hari Om.
Om.
Hari Om Ishwarji, please continue.
Okay. Now, the first stanza under discussion today is stanza 11 of chapter 6. 11 means Ekadashi. So, there are two aspects to the art of living. One is the philosophy, the other is the ritual. Philosophy explains what I should be doing, and the rituals explain the purpose of the philosophy, what is the benefit. Shuchau Deshe Pratithapya. Now, Gurudev has spent about half an hour on this particular stanza. Because looking for a clean place in his own house is a tall order. Because the whole house is in shambles, completely dirty. So I give up the meditation. Because I cannot find a clean place in my own house. Thiram asanam atmanaha. That is much more difficult. Now this atmanaha is not the atman. It is the sadhak. Then he has said, natyuchritam na ati nicham chaila jena kushottaram. So with so much of emphasis, it is impossible for me to do any meditation. And everybody start meditation. There is a course of 15,000 rupees on meditation. Now, 15,000 rupees is indeed a glorious sum. But because people are going attending, I also want to join the crowd. Now, tatra ekagram manakritva yata chittendriya kriyaha upavishya asane yunjyat. The most important word here is yunjyat. Yunjyat means to unite. Unite means bring all my facets of my life to this particular goal. Now, Atma Vishuddhaye. Now, this is a very important aspect of it. Atman is ever pure. It can never be contaminated by anything. So, what is there in meditation, in contemplation, that can do Shuddhi to this Atma? Now, you please remember the two stanzas. First word of the 11th stanza is Shuchau. The last word of 12th stanza is Vishuddhaye. Now, what is dirt? This must be very, very clearly understood. Dirt is something other than that thing itself. So anything against the dharma of the essential nature of the thing is dirt. So what is the dharma of sugar? It is sweetness. What is the dharma of HP? Sweetness. Of Pisharadi is also sweetness. So all of us are born sweet. But we turn sour because we want to, what shall I say, हम सबसे हड़पना चाहते हैं. In the process, we live a life wherein we are egoistic, selfish, not able to get sleep. Then we take sleeping pills, and the pills go to sleep. The person does not sleep. Shuchau deshe pratisthapya teram asanam atmanaha. The purpose of the scriptures is to change the lifestyle of mind. Which means Paropakaraya is the message. Paropakaraya. And what is Paropakar? Whatever I can do to serve the society. Giving more than what I take and consuming less than what I give. So, tatra ekagram, ekagram. Eka means, Eka is Bhagavan. This must be very, very clearly understood. So, I am Bhagavan plus Kachara. Manaha. What is Manas? Manas is ulta of Namaha. Nama means surrender to the Guru, surrender to the scriptures, surrender to the philosophy. Then, which means it is Swamiye Sharanam. Everything else is secondary. So, he is describing the process of contemplation, and contemplation is in and through every action of my life. Which means, even when I am cleaning the latrine, I must do it as a puja. So there is no different puja time, wherein I got elaborate things, and if one thing is missing, there is Mahabharata. No. So, Shuchav Deshe Pratithapya. That means when you decide to do a thing, you do it as best as you can. In the process, the existing vasanas get reduced, no new vasanas are formed, the mind and intellect get integrated, contemplation is more successful, faster. You can hold your mind intellect equipment together for a long time, and you get refreshed when you get up out of the meditation seat. So if I do not organize my life, every aspect of my life, then this meditation will go for a toss. That is what it is. And every time you start deciding to do something good, there will be seemingly disturbances from the world outside. Just like there is a ring on my door. Immediately my mind has gone there to find out who has come, what have they brought. Have they brought some idli or something? But if you have brought idli, will there be sambar also? So the mind goes away. So the mind hijacks all my programs. So the purpose of spiritual study is to stop, halt when I want to study. Hari Om.
Thank you, Ishwarji. Hari Om. Sharma ji, you are available. Can you share your views? Yeah, Sharma ji, please start speaking.
I'm driving right now. Can I do after the next speaker?
Meenakshi ji, would you like to share your views today?
Yes. Hari Om. Hari Om. So the verse 11, a few thoughts. Verse 11, it talks about the necessary conditions in which we can, which a person meditates. So just a few things. One is the cleanliness, the importance of cleanliness around us, which will have an effect on the mind. Second is the movement of the body, physical movement. Generally also, how important is not moving the body, keeping it as still as possible. So these two I find very practical. One is cleanliness, and the second is the physical movements to keep control, maintain the cleanliness and to control the physical movements as much as we can. I mean, meditation is not something which I'm personally very keen on, but I just tend to take something which is very practical for me. So this two things is what I took as pointers. And the verse 12 is very, very nice. So why we do it? So we do it to make the mind one-pointed, the scattered mind. So as Gurudev said, meditation is not going to give us Brahman. Meditation is only done so that the scattered mind comes together to control the scattering of the mind. And so what that here at this stage, the mind becomes one-pointed. The person has to make the mind one-pointed. And how he does it is by stopping the imaginations of the mind. So we have learned in the earlier chapters, earlier verses as well, the mind manufacturing. Control the mind manufacturing because that leads to desire. Very subtle things. So every time a thought comes, we control it at a subtle level and keeping the senses as controlled as possible. Senses control is very easy. I mean, it's relatively easy mind manufacturing control is something which is very, very difficult. And so what can disturb the mind is only these two things. So as Gurudev has very practically mentioned, these are the two things. If you control them, that's when the mind becomes steady. And then he has explained what is the use of meditation. Meditation is used to make the mind more control the scattering of the mind. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Meenakshi ji. Nandu ji, would you like to share your views?
Hari Om. Very nicely explained by all the speakers, especially Ishwarji, about the practical thing, about the meditation thing. And in last week, Balaji Maharaj already mentioned about like Gurudev has very nice video is there. So before the meditation, I think we should see that one very funny thing. I mean, what we should do and what we should not do. Just few thoughts from my side on this particular two shlokas about 11th and 12th. From this shloka onwards, almost up to like 32 shloka is completely talking about Dhyana Yoga. And one important Upanishad I came across, which is about like Shvetashvatar Upanishad. And Shvetashvatar Upanishad is about the second chapter of Shvetashvatar Upanishad. It's completely talking about like Dhyana Yoga. And there are like very similar shlokas, whatever in Gita, which is about like today's shlokas and today's two shlokas and the following shlokas, which have like very much similarity in the Shvetashvatar Upanishad. It is same talking about how we should see it and all that thing. And in the commentary of this today's shlokas itself, very nicely Gurudev given that hint, what we should about sitting, eating, not only sitting, it is going to help our sitting, eating and recreation, all those things, I think key things learning for us. And there is one Brahma Sutra in the fourth pada of Brahma Sutra. It is saying as like Asina Sambhavat, means like all these upasana should be done by sitting only. You cannot do like by standing or something. So that is one very important thing. And one thing we learned from the Patanjali Yoga Sutra from Dr. Sanjay ji, which is about like a Sthira Sukhasanam, which is in second chapter. So which is all this is talking about it. And why we should do this sadhana by sitting? Because once you will be having that level, then only it is said as like, okay, your day and night is just like a meditation. But we are maybe not reach up to that level. And that's why it is said, I mean, Pratama Sahaja Avastha means we need to reach up to that level. As a Sahaja Avastha, meditation should happen as a normal. And like Dvitiya Dhyana Dharana, which we need to practice, Tritiya Pratima Puja, and fourth is like a Tirthayatra, which is like said as like Adamata Adam. That is short thoughts from my Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Nandu ji. Hari Om. Sharma ji, are you available now? Okay, I don't know whether Sharma ji is still available. Girish ji, would you like to share your views today?
Hari Om, Manish ji and all. This verses, as we just listen to the commentary as well as the explanation, this is more of like the first few verses up to 10th, we have been told that how to what is the relevance of detaching the fruits of action and sense of ownership. So now this introduces to the how we can do the meditation. So the first 11th verse is actually just telling us how to position yourself so that we are not distracted by the external disturbances or deviations. And verse 12 is just reminding us how to how to start the meditation. Maybe I think the subsequent verses are more giving more instructions on how to follow the further steps of meditation. like Ishwarji said here, there are packages available for this, though it is elaborately explained in Gita. It's a tendency for the people or the mindset. If there is anything quick meditation or kind of thing, people always go for something else. But that may be to a certain extent true, because here in this explanation, Gurudev also saying that you can only set up or prepare yourself to do the meditation, but the real act of meditation or detaching from all has to be taught or made you experience by a guru. That is what one thing which I noted, because we used to, I mean, at least I used to say that these offers which are seeing everywhere may be a kind of bogus to make people attract. But this word by Gurudev has prompted me to rethink of that thinking. So that is one thing which I just noted. Then the importance of these two sloga, which I found, is the single pointedness, the reminder about the single pointedness, the need of single pointedness. So that is the key word which I just take away. And in the last sentences, last paragraph, Gurudev is saying, when pure and steady, I mean, ourself is when pure and steady, the consciousness looking at the steady reflection of itself. So this means when we reach to that kind of a stage, we automatically start looking at the reflection of our own thing, and comes to rediscover its own nature. The word used is rediscover. This means it is also just what do you call reiteration, that we will be rediscovering. I mean, we will not be discovering, but we'll be rediscovering our self with the own nature. These are the things which I understood, Manishji. Thank you.
Thank you, Girishji. Few reflections from my side as well. So I saw that this verse 11 is more of about getting seated in the place, and how do you sit, and how do you go about it, and detailed instructions coming from Krishna, especially at a physical level, body level. Yeah, I wish Balaji was there to explain this. So and then how you should be seated. So why is the Lord going down to that depth of explanation? Because this is a clear pointer that without meditation nothing can be achieved. I'm coming across the chapter 6 for the second time along with Chinmaya group, thankfully. And last time when I came, I wanted to start meditation, but I did not start for whatever excuses I give it to myself. But the main essence remains that without getting into the activity of meditation, we will not be able to achieve, and we will not even qualify to be called as a sadhak. This is what I believe. Coming to verse 12, the main point, the single pointedness, is the whole objective which Gurudev is trying to emphasize here, that the mind itself has to be made single pointed. And how can that be done? That is by removing the dissipations of the mind. So that single pointedness, if the two avenues of dissipation are blocked, instantaneously the mind becomes of its own nature. So Gurudev is explaining us what we don't know, that the mind's nature is single pointedness. There is nothing new. But how to get into it is by the method of removing all the dissipations of the mind. And one has to sit down in the manner explained and try to dissipate. So that dissipation goes away, mind becomes single pointedness, journey begins. Hari Om. I would see if Sharma ji, you are available now. Not sure if Sharma ji is still, I think, driving. Okay, I'll pass on the mic to Pradeep ji. Hari Om.
हरि ओम् शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरम् आसनमात्मनः नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं चैलाजिनकुशोत्तरं तत्रेकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यत चित्तेन्द्रियक्रिया उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात् योगम् आत्मविशुद्धये. So the slokas are for beginning of meditation with the Shuchau Deshe, the clean place, Pratishtapya, Stiram Asanam, and not too high, na ati uchritam, na ati nicham, not too high, not too low, Chailajina Kusha Taram. Kusha grass, and over which the deer skin, and this is the conventional thing, but this is basically Gurudev explains that is to dampen the, avoid the dampness of the flow, so that you don't get any rheumatic attack. Chailajina Kusha Uttaram, and a cloth on the top of the deer skin. Then the next point, next verse is about focusing the mind. Tatra ekagram mana kritva, keeping the mind single pointed. Yada chitta indriya akriya upavishyasane yunjyad yogam atma vishuddhaye. So as Ishwarji said, starting from Shuchau and atma vishuddhaye is the end. So basically it is for the meditation based tips. With respect to when it comes to meditation, we always have two type of people. Some people say that, yeah, I like meditation. I do always meditation. I like meditation. I don't disagree. I don't like this discussions and all these things. There are people who have even said that I'm not interested to continue in the study group because there is no much meditation. And some people say that I'm not a person for meditation and all that. It doesn't appeal to me or something like that. So, in fact, I would like, it's a question to Sanjay ji. Maybe Sanjay ji will be able to give us some light on that. That what is, for the normal sadhaka, what should be the approach? Let's say, for example, if I say that I'm not a person for meditation. Now, Ishwarji and Nanduji has given me the answers to this. That one is that Ishwarji said very clearly, unless you organize your life, it is not possible to meditate. Guruji also told us once to Sukumarji's question in Tapovan Kuti, that why do we do these rituals? So Guruji said, if you have to do a ritual, the next day, say Ganapati Homa, the previous night you have to prepare everything and the things, as well as to keep your mind in that mode, with that thought and with that feel. You get up in the morning, then only you will be able to do that Homa in the right spirit. So rituals are meant to organize your life. So basically, Atma Vishuddhaye, so that Shuddhi. Then Nanduji said that why we have to sit and do the meditation. That is, it is for actually the meditation has to become sahaja, which is, and basically the Atma Bhava has to become sahaja. So the Vishaya buddhi should be changed to Atma Buddhi. So now we are engaged in the Indriya Vishayas. So unless it is organized, it is regulated, we cannot get any chance to peep into the Atma Buddhi direction, that is to look inward. So that is basically the point, but generally, basically, because we are not this Sravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam, which is said often, but the problem happens is that you do a lot of Sravanam and a little bit of Mananam, but then you feel that you have not reached anywhere. So where am I? I can't even think of meditation. So this sort of that, or you are not qualified, or you are still not organized your life to the extent that you can meditate and all this type of thing. But the other side, the thought is that, this Sravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam, whatever level you may be, you have to deliberately, sort of a deliberate action. You have to do Sravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam, whether you are capable or not capable, or you're qualified or not qualified, or anything, irrespective of the level, should be doing these three. But most of the time we get stuck, or leave at that point where, oh, this is not going to have, because I'm not, or the other way around, that we have not organized in the mind in such a way that you are unable to sit. The moment you sit, the tattegagram manakritva is impossible, because that moment you will get some idea or thought, oh, that one I did not do. Immediately you get up and go and do that one. So this type of confusions or practical difficulties, maybe because we are so much into the world. So just I wanted Sanjay ji to give us a little more light on this aspect. Hari Om. Hari Om. Who is next? Manish ji, you are there?
Pradeep, no, I am driving now, please.
Okay. So is there anyone who would like to speak?
Okay, I will.
Dilip ji? Yeah. Okay, please.
Hari Om. Sujau deshe pradishtapya sthiramasanamatmanaha natyuchidam nati nicham chailajina kushotaram tatre gagram manakritva yadachittendriya kriyaha upavishwasane yujyat yogatma vishuddhe. First of all, the beauty of these two, the beauty of Sanskrit by which these two slogas are put in for the meditation is amazing. I was just fascinated with the beauty of the Sanskrit and how precisely they have put it here. And Gurudev also has clearly explained and added with Ishwarji's comments, gives really a thrust to this meditation purpose. In fact, I have tried many of these times, and as Ishwarji mentioned, this cleanliness, a clean and quiet place is lacking every time, and you get distracted. Other than that, what I felt is that though the scriptures and people are, yogis are mentioning about the meditation in the Brahma Muhurta time, early morning time, it is actually good in those days, but today's time, what happened, the morning you get up, you are thinking about the things to do the entire day. That means that gets disturbed during meditation also. Yeah, I'm talking about my experience. So I decided, okay, I will do it in the evening so that the daytime's importance and the events are all over. Now I am at peace. But that works more or less good, like, in the evening time. But the progress still not seen, I can say. I tried many times, and yes, the effort is going. It's very difficult. I remember my father used to do this, irrespective of whatever the circumstances. He used to, in fact, one step ahead of this, he used to take body cleaning also, take a shower also, and with clean dress and all, everything. He used to sit for meditation half an hour, irrespective of whatever happening around. I think that was the best time, in fact, for us as children. We were we were studying in the night, and he used to supervise. And for meditation purpose, he used to move away, and we used to have a fun time just those half an hour. Whatever we do, nobody's bothered to bring into his attention, like kind of thing, But what Ishwarji said, there are so many things getting what you call disturbs us, like, he mentioned about the doorbell knocks, Swiggy is coming, so Motto is coming, what is inside, all those things, Now, yesterday I happened to see one video of stick idli. Now, when I used to enjoy idli sambar lavishly, but now whenever I see an idli, oh, why the stick idli is not tasted? That kind of disturbance. So this, what I wanted to mention here is that it is very difficult to control the mind unless you are that determined, and a regular practice through these steps what Sloga mentioned. It is impossible to progress. So we have to strictly follow this guidelines. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Raghunandan ji, please. Yeah.
See, I mean, Pradeep ji, you rigged up a very, very important question along with what Manish just said. Like he mentioned, that after the second year, he's been doing this, right? I joined around 11th adhyay. Now, coming back to this, like why many sadhaks leave in between, or why they, it's all basically a confusion. We are in the quick era, instant coffee, instant noodle, instant. This is not instant. Now, meditation, if you see dhyan, right? In the Ashtanga Yoga, it is the fifth. Yam, Nisan, Niyam, Asan, Dhyan, Pranayam, then it comes Dhyan, Dharana, Samadhi. So we have to first clear the initial steps, with the Yam, Niyam, and those things to follow. Number one. Number two, many say I am not meant for meditation, jo bhi reason hai karke. अरे बाबा भगवान कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को ये महाभारत में गीता सुनाई है युद्ध स्थल पर. So he's not asking him to meditate over there. No, it's not that. The thing is, even ekagre, whatever you're doing, you do with the single pointedness. So Bhagwan is trying to, he's conveying in different words. We need to go behind the words, that what is the meaning trying to be conveyed. It is not that simple. If you take the sentence, you get the word meaning. That's the word meaning, right? Then, like Shabdar, you have to go in the bhava and the gudharth. What is the deep meaning? So which, Gurujis have been explaining. We need to understand that and do our own manan. We cannot be always depending, Pradeep will show, somebody will speak bhava. That is their thinking. What is our thinking? So that's why, many a times it has been insisted that everybody share their views. So they know what they are facing, what can be done, and, others can help them out. Now here, when we have cleared those stages and you are fit for dhyan, it is given, it is basically, if the energy is always pulled down. So if you don't keep the asana, which has been explained here, there has to be clean place, then, the ghas and then the charma and then this. So kambal is a very good source other than the, charma. In any case, now the leather is back. You can't get a deer skin or a lion skin or a leopard skin. It's not possible. And even if you do, the police can catch you. So the kambal is the best thing. So you can clean the place, put a kambal and then thing. And then the main thing to be noted here is the ekagra chitta, that it has to be ekagra chitta and all the indriyas to be controlled. Yet Chitendriya Kriya. And time and again, it has been conveyed in Bhagavad Gita about Chitendriya, how the Indriya and the Man. These two are the things, these two are the body, like what you Baba says, equipments, which are key, which are the key in to be controlled. So how do we control that? Is for that, you have to clean अंतःकरण की शुद्धि होनी चाहिए. अंतर की शुद्धि है कि निष्काम काम से, निष्काम काम आप करोगे जब सबको अपना देखो करके, you love, you have that love, compassion, empathy towards everyone around you, char achar both, whether it is living thing, non-being thing, all those things. वो करते करते आपका अंतर इतना शुद्ध हो जाएगा, तभी निष्काम काम होगा, and then we can sit for meditation, and it has been explained beautifully कि ध्यान कैसे लगाना है और कैसे होगा. So as we progress further in the Adhyaya, I will come to know that. And here also again, Bhagavan has said in this earlier slok itself, कि if the Atma, which is the man, अगर वो आपका मित्र है, तो everything is easy. अगर वो शत्रु है, तो आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. No, there's a very famous book, Evolve Your Brain, by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, he's an American author. He went to lots of hardship. He had fractured his, the backbone, and he cured it purely through meditation. There was no surgery, nothing, and now he travels all over the world giving lectures. So there in his entire book, the only shlok is quoted from Bhagavad Gita is this shlok. Atmane Vatmana, that the Atma is your own friend, and Atma, if it is not with you, it is a Shatru. So that is the importance he is given to meditation and the man, that how we can control it. People who like to read, it's a beautiful book to go through. It has been explained scientifically, like because many of us are more into the logical mind and the scientific proof in it. We actually, if you have Bhagavad Gita, you don't need any other things to read. But then along with that, many people want to confirm. That's the book to go through. Hari Om.
Thank you, Raghunandanji. Next, so Sukumarji, would you like to speak? Hari Om, Sukumarji is there? Or Arun?
Dilip
Sukumarji is
ji,
there. Yeah.
Pradeep ji, today no ji.
Okay.
Please.
Arun?
Hari Om Pradeep ji, I'm also not talking.
Who else? Jairam ji.
Okay, Hari Om. Here we see a very kind-hearted teacher leaves nothing for the imagination of the student. Because when you start a journey, all doubts and anxieties must put to rest beforehand, so that the further journey becomes very peaceful and successful. Meditation, even today, it's such a fancy word, and there are endless number of videos and books available on the subject. Our Ishwarji mentioned, there are huge amounts paid for a meditation course, 10 days meditation, 5 days meditation, 24 hours meditation, so many things are there. And like when somebody pays a huge amount and comes back and it goes and tells everyone it was excellent, nobody wanted to say that, no, I got cheated. That is the tendency. And if you ask them, then there is no explanation. It was just excellent. So that is, the whole idea is purification of the mind. And purification of the mind means minimal distraction and single pointedness bringing, because the mind is extrovertness and it is the tendency to run in all directions. The whole idea is to bring, organize. In any successful project office or an engineering office, we see a lot of documents available, but it all depends on how the documents are arranged, because at the right time, the right document should be available. Otherwise, the whole time is wasted on searching. Similarly, mind is always agitated, anxieties, past, future. So generally, it is not available for the present. So we have seen that all Mahatmas and who are daily practitioners of meditation, they are much more efficient in their daily life also. The whole idea is to make, like the Gurudeva's quote, make the mind where the hand is. So when we try to catch the reflection of sun in a moving mirror or a moving water, it is will be all, it's not available at focused. But when the mind is steady, then naturally it becomes an instrument to receive the real nature or a real potential of the mind. So the whole exercise is purity of the mind, and that mind can be applied for further improvement. Okay, that much on these two slokas. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Jaramji. Anyone want to share their views or any questions to put up to Sanjay ji? We have 2 minutes left. Otherwise, we'll pass on to Sanjay ji.
Hari Om. Just wanted to,
yes,
express
please.
my views. Yeah. I was just intrigued by the, some of the mention of the total Hindu decadence. There is a word used there in the modern time. This is in relation to the cleanliness, and cleanliness is considered as next to divinity in India. So some of the things that we see around, from those time when this particular contemplation was done, I think things have moved on, in the sense we have realized the importance of cleanliness, and I was just thinking about how things have probably taken I would say things have improved. That is what I just wanted to mention. And also the fact that we talk about, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and all that. We talk about cleanliness all around, not only within your house, but also outside. So just a thought that came to my mind. The second thing that I just wanted to also mention was the way the choice of words Gurudev has actually used when he talks about the single mindedness. Just to read through that particular paragraph, the choice of words is so beautiful. Subduing the faculty of imagination and activities of the self sense organs. So is the instruction given by Krishna. Single pointedness is the very potent nature of the mind, but it gets flabbergasted, confused, and even mad when it gets dynamized by either the inner force of one's own surging imagination or the outward pull rendered by the hallucinations of the sense organs. Now, what Krishna is saying, that if you are able to block these dissipations, then the mind becomes single pointed. But this is so difficult to achieve. Actually, it is easier said than done. And this is exactly what I think this is the crux of the whole exercise of meditation, is what I feel, that if you're able to do achieve this particular single pointedness, only then you will be able to really make progress in this in the process of meditation. So how do we actually do this is the question, and is there any step-by-step process by which you can subdue these dissipations is the question, because you can't do it suddenly. It has to be a kind of a progressive way, or there has to be a step kind of a process to do this. So I was just wondering whether is there any person who can guide us, or experience actually will also teach us others experience. So I was just wondering whether we can have anything. Probably Sanjay ji can also talk about it. Hari Om.